Difficult times, isn't it, when you are a brand new king, His Majesty King Charles III. You've just recently ascended, and then of course you have all the problems that you never normally had to deal with yourself because of course you were the Prince of Wales. Times were a little bit easier, less stress if you like, and not everything came to you. And we're not just talking about the red boxes of course that our late monarch, our wonderful Queen Elizabeth II dealt with every single day of her working life. Now the bigger problem of course for King Charles is this: it's public opinion. You know, when you've had a successful monarch for so long, 70 years on the throne, you have to decide exactly how you maneuver yourself through the very trucky waters. What now really is your brand new kingdom, whichever way you look at it. It all sounds incredibly medieval, doesn't it? You know, you're talking about it as if it was Knights of the Round Table, but it really is a little bit like that. But more so than ever, it's about public perception and how you deal with things, and more importantly, how you don't deal with things. And these are the very, as I say, difficult times ahead for His Majesty King Charles III. This really all centres, as ever, on his youngest son, and of course the titles that he may or may not bestow upon them, you know. And again, a lot of people over here, you know, the major feeling is simply this, that when you think about it, you know, while Harry and Meghan claimed originally in the Oprah Winfrey interview that they didn't really need titles and were not too fussed about it, kept of course the birth of both their children away from the public gaze. Nobody truly knew exactly the background to those particular births, or indeed the stories leading up to them. Everything was shrouded in smoke and mirrors. So of course you can understand, particularly over here in the United Kingdom, why people feel, well, if you don't want to share that side of it, why then should we bestow the honour of having a title, even though it may be the, you know, right thing to do, whichever way you wish to look at it. Now this has already fallen down to, as I say, His Majesty King Charles III, and he's a little bit concerned because on the one hand, whichever way he deals with it, he comes out looking bad. Very clever move of course by those associated with this particular story. And of course on the other side of the coin you have His Royal Highness the Prince of Wales, also not too keen on the idea. And it really all stems from this, really, according to a very good source. They feel, of course, that the public don't know them, but then really, as we've seen with other members of the British monarchy, they've gone off to trade independently of them. Now, if you recall, when Harry and Meghan first announced their child, as it were, Archie Windsor, they basically said they wanted a private life. You know, they didn't necessarily want anything associated with the lifestyle that Prince Harry had been brought up with. They wanted a totally separate, different life. Well, seemingly now, someone very close to them has had a very big change of heart. And more importantly for them, it looks like this problem is now resting very firmly on His Majesty King Charles III. But whatever he decides could really change the public perception, the court of public opinion. Because over here the feeling is simply, if you do it, you could have a bigger problem than you could have possibly foreseen. Bigger than anything that our former monarch Queen Elizabeth II would have had to deal with. Such is the strength of feeling right now over here about the once much loved Harry and Meghan. Seemingly bridges have been burnt, and if King Charles wants to make them, well, shall we say, a little bit more secure, he could do so at his own popularity and at stake, more importantly, how the monarchy is perceived across the world. Neil Sean in the very heart of London.